What's happening? Welcome back to Foil Hats Optional. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for hanging out with me again tonight. Tonight, I've got the great pleasure of hosting none other than the person I call the old lady, the old battle axe, the old ball and chain, or as I usually call her, Hey. I'm pleased to give a warm welcome to none other than my wife and my best friend,
Aw.
Jeffiner Petrick,
Thanks, honey.
or as she says, Jennifer Petrick.
That is it.
So thanks for hanging out in the old creative lair with me tonight. I appreciate you coming on. So
Absolutely. I love your room.
yeah, do you?
Mm-hmm. I
What do
like
you
it
what do you
better.
like most about it?
The wall that I didn't want in mine.
Oh, okay. You want it now?
No, it looks
No?
good in yours.
Yeah? You
Mm-hmm.
good with that?
Mm-hmm.
So here, cheers to that. Cheers to Friday night.
Cheers to Friday nights,
So
saving the world.
are we?
Usually what we do in the bar.
Well, let's see if we can do it on the podcast.
All
Maybe
right.
we can help somebody else come up with some great ideas on how to save the world.
All right.
How do you like being married?
Mm-hmm. It's all right. It says it's ups and downs. No, it's good. I mean, I've been with you
It's like the
forever.
garage door business. It's got
Yeah.
its ups and downs. It's all right.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
good. It's great.
Yeah.
It's tough sometimes,
Oh yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
been
No
through a
doubt.
lot. Mm-hmm.
What do you think the key to staying married as long as we have is?
Well, we went through some stuff for sure. Um, Honestly, to at some point recognize to not sweat the small stuff. That's a great saying, and it's so true. Like some things aren't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But
So
then I would also say compromise, right? So listening, compromising,
I would agree. Yeah, I
not
definitely agree.
overreacting.
I think you have to compromise. I mean, if you're going to stay, we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
We all have our idiosyncrasies, and we got to put up with each other's shit, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way you can really do it is you really have to, learn to compromise, but only to a point. You can't
Right,
you don't want to let the other person walk all over you
right,
either, right?
for sure. There's compromising on both sides for sure.
So if we were giving marital advice to people, what would we tell them? Is this what we tell them? Like, hey, compromise and just get along,
Hang in there.
hang in there.
Remember why you originally wanted to get married.
That's true. Yeah, I
That's what I would
agree.
say.
I think people tend to have knee-jerk reactions more
Mm-hmm.
often nowadays. I don't know. I don't know if that's a cultural thing or societal thing that just
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I mean, we've kind of broken. We haven't broke the mold, but we've kind of broken the norm by staying married as long as we have
Yeah.
because most people don't nowadays. It's just even when our parents, when we were in high school, let's say, um, the stats on people staying married were they were going way down back
Mm-hmm.
then. So we've actually, we should applaud ourselves. We've done a good job apparently. Maybe we can be role models for other people out there. They're like, hey, stick together,
Yeah.
you fucking jerks.
Well, it's easy to get divorced these days. It's
Yeah,
easier to like call it quits. And again, we had our issues, but you hang in there and figure it out.
yeah. There's some really great benefits from staying married and being
Mm-hmm.
married too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
I mean, it used to
um,
be tax benefits, but
yeah, and that kind of stuff changes, but still,
mm-hmm.
like the monetary side of it is still a good benefit
Mm-hmm.
because if you look at like the things that we have together now, I mean, if we were alone, we wouldn't have any of the stuff that we have, right?
Right. Well, probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a lot harder because
Mm-hmm.
we get to pool our income and kind of do it together.
Right.
You get divorced, then you got to split it up, and that sucks. But
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely that. I mean, there's that aspect, and then there's the more important part. I think is that when you have somebody there for you, somebody to go through the good and the bad times. Somebody to have a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to complain to, somebody to have laughs with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's knowing, if the way I look at it, knowing that you're always gonna be there for me. I always, it's kind of a security blanket. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
nice to have. So
I'll be your Doug.
yeah, you can. All right, you be my Doug. But it's something people should, keep in mind when they're, getting ready to say, fuck it, I'm getting divorced
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell everybody how you stalked me in high school and that's how we ended up together?
Daphne, where are you?
She's not going to save you. This is on you, man.
No, I don't really think it was stalking. 'Cause
That's
that
the
would
way
be
I saw
weird.
it.
Of course. You like the stalkers.
I'd like to think that people stalked
No.
me.
Actually, I was in the back of 10th grade English and you were in the front row on the right of me. And I can't remember, was Daphne behind you? I
She
think you were in
sat
the
in
front.
front of me.
She sat in front of you. Okay. And I think you were gone for a while, which at the time I didn't know why. I think I noticed you were gone. I'm like, hey, where'd that sort of cute guy go? When you came back, I think I sent her a note. Whatever, I probably said how cute you were or some dumb shit like that when you're
hmm
16 years old, and you took it. And that's, I think, how that worked. And then after that, I don't really know. Well, you were getting your $5 a week allowance. I was working 2 jobs and had a car.
Just
So,
going to try to throw me right under the bus like that,
well,
huh? What kind of, hey, I'm the host of this show here, so I get to set the rules.
hey, you asked the
I didn't say
questions.
you get to start bashing on me.
It's not bashing.
Well, it's kind of how I took it. Well, you answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you, like, how did you suddenly just all of a sudden notice me? Because you did sit in the back.
Yeah.
And we'd never spoken at all until I had appendicitis. The reason I was gone for like 2 weeks because my appendix exploded while we were in the mall that's now being torn down. I was just hanging out, and so anyways, had to get my appendix out, or what was the fragments of it that were
Yeah.
left, and then 2 weeks later I came back, and then lo and behold, here's this chick trying to hit on me. It's like,
Yeah.
I was
passing
used to it though. It
notes.
happened all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just beating them off with sticks constantly.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe I was secretly looking at you when you were around, and then when you weren't, I was like, where'd my guy go? My secret guy.
You thought he's all right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So now everybody knows that we've been together since high school.
10th grade.
Oh, that's another one, right? Who does that?
Even have that papers out of the trig book that we recently found.
Oh, God, yeah, that was funny.
Do you have that?
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if I
it's
throw it
somewhere.
away, you'll probably be pissed
Yeah.
at me. So I'm not going to just throw it away. Yeah.
Cleaning out something and found like my old trig book, and it didn't say like Andy loves Jenny or Jenny loves Andy. I'm sure it said
something
Andy
like
loves,
that.
I'm sure it said Jenny loves Andy or
Jennifer
something.
Elise Petrick loves
Yeah.
Andrew David Petrick, yeah, or Jennifer Elise Johnston loves Andrew David Petrick.
How G-A-Y
Stupid
is that?
girls.
I know.
Yeah, it's all right. It's funny, and it's funny that you saved it so I could get a good laugh out of it.
We had all of us girlfriends, all of us friends. We all had our own little notebooks. That's what you did. You used to pass notes to each other, but then after a while, we just had our own notebook. Like I had a Chris notebook, and so we didn't pass the notebooks back to each other. And
so it's the old day equivalent to like text messages nowadays.
right.
Everybody's got their own text message, so now you don't have to keep a notebook. It's all digital. That's pretty funny. Yeah, dudes didn't do stuff like that.
No.
We just hung out. We didn't keep notes or records. We just kind of did stuff. So it's a little bit difference between dudes and chicks.
Which is why I have all my yearbooks and my middle school yearbooks still.
Okay. Good for you.
Class of 88, Mitchell Middle School.
Something that I don't think people know about you.
Oh boy.
They don't know that you're an amateur artist and you go by the pseudonym Gugu. And you're actually, your art is part of my intro, and it's displayed on the wall behind me. So I was wondering if maybe you'd like to tell me and everybody else, what's up with the art? How do you like that? What made you think to paint such a great picture? And
such a great picture. Pretty hilarious. So my
what's
daughter.
so funny about that?
Yeah, because I'm a terrible artist. It was the first time I ever got like an M in art.
When you painted this?
Yeah, Miss El.
Did you get grades out for
something like
painting
that from Schulte? No. Kaylee and I, we went to the Moose for a paint night, and we did really bad. Actually, Kaylee did way worse than me because the teacher came by us and was trying to kind of showing us. We all did the same thing, but we could do our own colors. So, I chose those colors, whatever. And he was trying to show her, and finally he was like, "Forget it, I'll just do it." So he started painting on her.
Is she taking credit for that?
No, she thought hers was so bad she gave it to Miley.
Oh, and so did she let Miley take credit for her art then?
No,
she just she doesn't want anybody to see it.
Yeah, it's in Miley's room, I think, unless they tossed it. But yeah, mine was. It looks pretty childish, but you liked it, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing that I think people miss, or art is subjective, just like music. It's all about like who's looking at it. So if I like it, then that's all that matters.
True. Yeah.
And I'm not an art judge or anything like that, but I don't really give a shit. I like it, so I think you did a good job on there.
Thanks.
Why do you use the pseudonym Gugu?
I use the pseudonym Gugu because of Eddie Murphy. I
Oh
can't
yeah,
remember if it was
Goonie Goo Goo or
yes,
whatever. Yeah,
Goonie Goo Goo. I can't remember if it was from oh my gosh. Now I can't remember. Two stand-ups, red leather jumpsuit, purple leather jumpsuit. It
that's
was
not what they were called.
Delirious or whatever. Delirious or Raw. I think it was Delirious when he was talking about I think the African lady Goonie Goo Goo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So William they would call me Grandma Goo Goo.
Okay.
So then I'm just Goo Goo.
So now you're Goo Goo. Well, at
Yep.
least you got that in your back pocket. So whenever you become famous, you can just change your name, kind of like,
To Goo Goo.
Madonna or Prince or Lady Gaga. You can be Goo Goo.
I could be Goo Goo Doll, just singular, not the
Goo Goo
Goo Goo
Doll.
Dolls.
You think you'll get sued by the Google Dolls?
No, because that's plural. I'm
They
only
probably
one.
sue you because I'm sure they need money because they ain't doing shit nowadays.
No. Well, I can.
They're
Can
local,
they
They're
can
from Milwaukee, I believe.
really?
I
They can
believe
sell
they
my
are.
art at Starving Artist Fair.
The Goo Goo Dolls, the
Yeah,
band,
if they need money.
you could or something. They could
Mhm.
sell their records.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had a bit of what I would say a crazy ride recently over the last probably 3 years with your career. From where you were a few years ago to where
Mhm.
you are now. I mean, looking at it from the outside, I'm just like, I look at it and I go, man, that's got to be super stressful to deal with all that. So I wanted to ask you about it, see like what your thoughts. Maybe you can kind of fill me in a little bit more on how you feel about that whole ride.
Well, I am on hair supplements for hair falling out, so I'd say it's probably a little stressful because I have thinning hair as an old woman.
Mm,
Um,
the old ball and chain.
exactly. No, it's been super stressful. I mean, remember when I was looking to leave the place where I was at for 10 years and I had companies kind of fighting over me? I'd run outside to you like, oh my gosh, they're doing this, they're doing that. And now what do I do? What do I say?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was really kind of over the top and overwhelming. But, I was pretty proud of myself and just, that I was being recognized,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because I didn't feel like I was being recognized before. But that was overwhelming because I'm not one to leave a job. I don't like it. I hate it. I
Why
hate
is
leaving a
that?
job.
Do you
Um,
like it because it's consistent, or like it's always it's always there? Why is that you don't want to leave?
because I really think that I put my heart and soul into the company and I'm very loyal to them. Really, if I feel like it's not reciprocated, then I just get a little more frustrated.
You're probably not alone with that. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's very common. I
And
mean, I'm sure that's
companies get
usually like.
complacent when you're with someone for a long time. You're getting your little 3%ers and,
Mm-hmm.
nothing else, and you don't feel kind of like in a marriage, right? If people are getting complacent, you're a good worker, you're just fine. I
Right.
mean, it's just in anything, everyone gets complacent, but if you show the signs and you say that and nothing changes.
Everybody wants to be needed, right? Everybody
Mhm.
wants to be. Um, they want to. Well, you would think they want to pull their weight and feel like that people notice that they're doing something good, right?
Mhm.
And I think you're right that not only employees but employers, they get complacent with
Mhm.
you know
Sure.
and they almost forget about the good employees because you're doing what they hired you to do. You're
Mhm.
doing a good job, and you're doing what they have you there for, and you're doing it so well that they just forget about you.
Mhm.
And it's too bad that that's how it works a lot of times. It'd be nice, I'm sure there is employers that totally pay attention to that, but I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of them that don't.
Yeah.
And if maybe some employers are watching this, and maybe they'll learn a lesson like, hey, pay attention to your employees that are
Mhm.
good, because it's not easy to hire another employee and train them. And,
Mhm.
hopefully they show up and they do a good job and they're not stealing from you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not easy. And I think people should value their employees,
Mhm.
and, you can value your employer as well.
All right.
And if you
Mhm.
do, I mean, you're doing a good job if you value your employment, right?
Yeah, changing jobs a couple times over the last since 2021 has been something. So, definitely learning a lot and loving it, liking it, you know, good
Yeah.
opportunities. So,
You feel like it's been a net gain.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm back to where I started in my business with, underground construction.
Hmm.
So, that's what brought me into the business. So, it's interesting to get back into it.
Seems like you got a good thing going on
Yeah.
right now from outside looking in. And
Hmm.
I think I mean, I'm obviously impressed. And good for you. And you know me, we've talked about this stuff. I'm a bit pushy. overly pushy at times, and I'm always trying to. I do it. I do it because I do it because I feel like I'm helping push you in a good direction. I don't ever push you to try to do something stupid or bad. Um,
Well, that one time. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
I just feel like yeah, we see it differently, obviously, and I have a very strong personality, so I just tend to do that to people, and if I
Mm-hmm.
see it a certain way, I don't have a problem telling you that I see it this way, and I think you should be doing this
Mm-hmm.
way too. Because sometimes I think people they don't, maybe you need to flaunt yourself a little bit more when it comes to the things that you're good at, and you need to be a little bit pushy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's like a fine line where you can't be too pushy because then you just come across as an asshole, and
Yeah.
then maybe people don't want to keep you around because of that. But
Right.
you know the old saying that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I mean, that is so true,
I hate that.
and it works. I mean, and I hate it,
Mm-hmm.
but with what I do, it happens all the time too. It's the people that are always calling and asking, "Where's my stuff? Where's my
Mm-hmm.
stuff?" Those are the ones you tend to take care of because you just want them to go away half the time. Like, let me just get this done, and then they'll stop bothering me. But
See, not in my claims world. You go to the bottom of my list.
yeah, well, I'd like to say that in the perfect world that you can do that, but
Right.
you know,
No, I
I'm still
know.
working on how to do things perfectly. Maybe I'll figure it out when I
Yeah,
die.
me too, right? I'm a cynic.
Another thing that you've been doing a lot lately is you've been shooting a lot of billiards, shooting a lot
Yes,
of that
shooting a lot of
pocket
billiards,
billiards.
eh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I talk
It's
Fargo a lot too. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, we can maybe do a whole episode on how you
Oh
talk like
yeah.
that,
Mm-hmm. I
because
can
this
make
is
you.
how people think that up in Wisconsin we sound like this up here. I don't know
I know.
why.
Meanwhile, I can make you some eggs. Mm-hmm.
Let me make you some eggs, Margie.
I did
So
that a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So pool.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like you really been liking pool a lot,
I
and I
love it.
think you probably always have, but all of a sudden, way more lately.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about that all of a sudden you're just like, man, I really
Hmm.
like pool.
Well, not to take away from anybody else, I think that I really love the group of ladies that I shoot with. Met a lot of them at the Moose, and I think we have this very similar um, skill level, I would say, knowing that we want to do better and that we take it seriously, but we also want to have a good time. So we
Hmm.
have a good time together. So it's a lot of fun. And that's really all I could say, that cuz that's my favorite thing to do is laugh.
Yeah.
So
So that's the biggest factor is the people that you do it with.
I mean, no, because then that sounds like I didn't like the people that I was shooting with
No,
before,
I
because
I,
that's
I get what you're
100%
saying.
not
Yeah.
true. I think I like it more because I'm closer to home.
Mm,
So that takes into a big impact. We never went to state before, and we freaking made it to the finals. That's pretty amazing for our
yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think when we do better, it seems, I I think that's why I think I'm shooting better
Hmm.
than I did in the last couple years. So
Well, if you do it more, I would, naturally, the
yeah.
more you do something, generally you do get better at it. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. And I
Um,
mean, what else am I gonna do?
as far as pool goes, is there anything that, like, if there was one thing that you'd say I'd like to be better at doing this, what would it be?
I would definitely like to be better at kick shots. Mm-hmm.
Explain that to me. I think I know what it is, but explain to me a kick shot.
Like it's when you hit the cue ball up against the rail and then it comes back and hits your ball into a pocket versus just you banking.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
I mean, and there's plenty of other things like English. Every time well, not every time. When I want to draw it, that's when I do a stop shot. When I try to do a stop shot, that's when I follow. Like, you know, I think I
Okay.
just need better vision.
You think if you could
Yeah.
see better, you'd shoot
Yeah.
better?
Well, I mean, so many people said, "You're hitting it too high." I'm like, really? I'm aiming right at the center,
Mm.
because that's where you want to hit in the center.
You know,
So
I played enough pool, and I don't dislike it.
you're a good shot. I
Yeah.
wish you would play on our team.
I mean, whatever. Maybe someday I'll do it again. But I got all kinds of stuff I like to do.
And I don't have any
Yeah, I like the
hobbies.
creative stuff, so I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of doing that now, just because I'm always looking for whatever. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now. And yeah, I did. For a while, I was playing a lot of pool, and I was playing straight pool, which I really liked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think straight pool is great. I think if you want to get better at playing pool, for no doubt, start playing straight pool with somebody. Even if you're in a 9-ball league or an 8-ball
Mm-hmm.
league, I think shooting straight pool it teaches you so much more about how to leave the cue ball where you need it, how to have a lot
Mhm.
more finesse, which you see a lot of people, especially people that are bar players that really aren't in leagues. If you go to a bar at night, you see guys with a lot of rocket pocket stuff,
Yeah.
right? That's not the way you're supposed to shoot pool. I mean, you see the people that are really good at it, they have a very nice, like it's a mechanical type of
Mhm.
approach to
Mhm.
using the cue stick, and they're they're never really hitting the ball hard or you're
Mhm.
fast, you know what I mean? Because they know how to get the ball where it needs to go by using the correct English and using the correct speeds and stuff like that.
Hey, you watch my friend Tim?
I've
He's
never seen him
yeah,
shoot it, but you tell me how great he
yeah,
is.
he's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing with his pool stick when he's like lining up stuff, but
probably geometry.
exactly. But
Yeah.
I mean, I got a C in that, even though I wanted to be a
Well,
math
maybe
teacher. I
just
liked
bring your protractor
algebra.
with you
Yeah,
and you
right.
can just lay it
Exactly.
down, you know?
You know what I'm really good at is banking when I'm doing that, but I just scratch.
Oh,
I
because
forgot. I don't.
you don't realize where the cue ball's going like
Yeah.
after you do the
No, I
bank
don't
or
even
whatever.
hit my ball.
Oh, so you miss? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, really?
hmm
Hmm. Wonder why that
On
is.
kick shots
On the kick shots.
because my geometry is like perfect for that, but I'm not putting my ball into consideration. My
But
object ball.
but you don't have to make the kick shot if you're leaving the cue ball where it should be to
hmm
start with.
If I'm on my second shot, yeah, right.
Good pool players don't have to make
hmm
bank shots. You know, they
True.
rarely do because
Yeah.
and who wants to do that? That's
Right.
some of that stuff. There's a science to it, but a lot of the bank shot stuff, there's a lot of luck involved in that
Yeah.
because there's a lot of factors involved. I mean,
The
the spin of the
rails.
cue ball puts a spin on the object ball and the rails, and every house has probably got the rails are a little bit different depending on where you're shooting. The pocket sizes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There could be a little something on the table that could,
hmm
um, redirect your ball when you're
Yeah.
shooting. So yeah, the object is don't make bank shots. Don't
Yeah.
have to make bank shots.
Right. Right.
That's how I always looked at it.
Well, in BCA rules, people like to call safes on you,
Yeah,
or
that's
not call safes on, do safes on you. So then you're required to try to. I mean, you're lucky if you even get that, so it's not ball in hand. But
I never played in a league or any and shot pool like that. So that is something I'm not familiar with. And I can see where
mm,
where you would have to make more bank shots
hmm
because of that. That totally makes sense to me. I just never really shot pool in a
hmm
league where people played safes because I always played with buddies and I played bar league pool
hmm
for I don't know, that's a few years
hmm
way out in the middle of nowhere.
nowhere.
However the hell that happened, but that was fun. I had a
Hmm
good group of guys.
And maybe that going back to your question about shooting pool. So if I shoot on one summer league on 9-foot tables, which is BCA, and then I shoot at the Moose on an just an internal team or league that's fun, blind partners, and that's last pocket. And then on the Thursday night, which is a different rules. So it's kind of nice to play, makes you think of different types of shots.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why I like it more, that there's 3 different rules that we play by depending on the night. So
Probably makes you a little bit better too, having to do these different things.
that might be why,
You would think.
that I like it better and I feel like I'm shooting better.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad anything you can find that you enjoy to
Mhm.
do, you should be doing it.
Mhm.
It's maybe because I'm finally realizing that I'm getting older and that someday I'm probably closer to dying than I am to birth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But maybe I started looking at life
Yeah.
differently. And I'm just like, hey, man, you got one chance at this.
Mhm.
Make the absolute best of what you can. Do the
Mhm.
things you love and
Yep.
enjoy your life because you only
You only
get
got
one of them,
one.
man.
Mhm.
Unless you're, I think if you're, I think it's Hindu. They believe in reincarnation.
Mhm.
So then, if you're Hindu, maybe you don't, maybe you do it differently. But I
Right.
think those people live their life by a pretty strict set of rules. They're not just
Yeah.
out there just willy nilly, just doing whatever they want because
Right.
they're Hindu. Like, I'll be born again. What do I give a shit? I'll just
Exactly. I
run this
don't think
guy
that's
over with my car.
Yeah, I don't think that's
No,
happening.
no, not at all. Well, I'm glad you're playing pool and that you're enjoying it. And we'll keep doing it, man. And
Mhm.
maybe someday you'll get me to start doing it again. I got a pretty nice stick. I mean, pool stick. I got one of those. It's pretty nice.
What do you have? Balabushka?
No, I don't. No, Fast Eddie didn't give me a Balabushka.
Yeah.
I just have a Lucchese, just like you.
Oh, that's what
Not
I
as
have
nice
too.
a one.
Yours
Mine's like the more the old school look because it's made out of gray stained bird's eye maple.
Mm.
It's a really nice looking cue, and that's a nice cue. I like it.
Mhm.
It's a nice playing cue. It's just not as fancy as yours.
Yeah, I love my
But
steak.
but things are way more expensive too. Mine was probably more expensive if it was the same cue and you bought it now, it'd probably be double
Yeah,
because
I'm
that's
sure.
just where we're at, right? What's your favorite genre of music?
That's a tough one because it usually depends on my
That's what this show's
mood.
all about.
Yeah.
Tough questions.
Tough
This is
question.
what we do. We're like, who's the old talk show guy, Phil Donahue? I asked the
Oh,
tough questions.
did he?
No,
Him and his
I
white
have
hair.
no idea. He's just the first guy I thought of.
If I would say probably heavy is my
Heavy
favorite.
music?
Yeah,
You mean like metal?
yeah.
Like what kind of
Like
metal?
rock bands,
Rock.
rock bands.
What kind of rock band? I mean, look, okay, so
Ugh,
nowadays, like you break those genres down into like all kinds of stuff.
dang.
So, well, I mean, like what kind of metal are we talking about? Are we talking about the '80s stuff? We talking about, like the Five Finger Death Punch and the Breaking Benjamin stuff?
Man, I'm like the master of music. I like everything.
Yeah,
The least is country.
that makes you the master of music.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because I like, you ask,
Self-proclaimed master of music
yes,
over here. Okay,
you ask my little friend Michelle, because I'll sing all the words to
why
all
is
the
she your little
songs.
friend?
No.
Why you gotta belittle her like that? Ooh,
Well,
that's my
she's
little
only
friend.
like 5'2"
Okay, you could have said my short friend.
versus
No.
Tracy, my 5'8" friend.
Yeah.
Not to,
So you don't call her your big friend?
no, that would be rude.
But somebody that's a little friend, it's
Mhm.
not rude? Somehow that's not offensive? Oh, that's
If
interesting.
anybody called me
This is
little,
not getting edited out of here, by the way. This is going
if I was
out for
little,
everybody
that
to
would be
see.
very exciting. If I had something little on me.
Somebody called me little, I'd probably punch him. I'd be pissed. Don't you call me little. That's dudes don't want to be little though.
Yeah, right. Women do.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
But no, so metal, Metallica's always been my favorite up until, Justice for All. After that it was like no good.
Yeah.
Um,
You and everybody else that grew up
mhm.
listening to him has the same
I
thought.
like Disturbed. I know you don't like Disturbed. I love me some Disturbed.
Mhm.
I had a great time at Static X.
Mhm.
I love seeing Slayer. Man, all those things.
So you do the heavy, you're
Yeah.
into the pretty heavy stuff. You're not into the heaviest stuff like I am. You're not
No.
into those like the really good heavy stuff.
No. I
Yeah.
like the not so great. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
kidding.
I know. You like the cookie cutter stuff.
Whatever. They're
You
not.
like the milk toast metal.
They're not
I'm
milk
just
toast.
kidding. I know. No, because I
Yeah.
love, with the exception of like Disturbed, which in all honesty, their first album was really good. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I don't like them anymore is it's just because everything they've always ever done since that first album sounds like that
Right.
first album. And I know bands have a certain sound and they're trying to put that sound out there because that's what their fans like. But the good bands do change things up a little bit. And Metallica is an example. Like you don't really like any of their new stuff, but I know people that do. And it's different, and it's not horrible.
Right.
It's just not it's not my jam anymore. So
Right.
I'm not really into it either because I was more like I was into the thrash stuff. That was I was when I was young and in high school when I discovered metal, I was like immediately going for the heaviest shit I could find.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always liked.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I didn't
So-
like Deicide and
No, right.
all those kind of.
No, that was me and my crew back then. Pellegrino and Dominguez and Lovato, those guys. We were like, I think we were like some of the first people that were really getting into that heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Man, we were the godfathers of listening to death
Oh,
metal.
self-proclaimed godfathers.
We were. Prove me wrong.
Mhm.
No, but we're not talking about me. This is my show, so I get to do whatever I want. But no, we're talking about you.
I guess I would call that my favorite. I like everything else, so depending on my mood, I could love me some good dance hip hop stuff.
If you had to pick like one band, like if you had one favorite band, could you nail it down to one band?
Probably not.
No. Could you nail it down to like 5?
Yeah, I like in each genre or just in general.
You can. I mean, we got all the time in the world.
I mean,
I might fall asleep or
for
get
whatever
bored with you.
metal, it would probably be Metallica, of course, Ozzy, of course.
I knew that.
Yeah, Disturbed would probably be in my top 5, I would think. Now that we went and saw Dope, I like Dope.
Do you really?
Yeah, they're
I
all
didn't
right.
think you were a drug addict. You didn't
Yeah.
strike me as one.
Yeah.
You did. I when we got done with that show, you were like into them, and then you
know.
were listening to them too right away.
Yeah.
And I
Like,
knew about them.
die, motherfucker, die. That's a great song. That's a great
Gotta
song.
get your aggressions out somehow, man.
Yeah, I listened to that, and oh my god, I just forgot the break stuff from Limp Bizkit.
Oh, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so we got Disturbed. We got
Metallica,
Dope.
Ozzy.
Dope is up there in your top 5, really?
No, no.
Yeah, you gotta
I mean,
take them
just
out.
today,
Take them out.
take them
Just,
out.
Just take them out. Just backtrack. It's okay.
Slayer,
You're not a politician.
probably. Maybe Static X. I mean, I like Five Finger Death Punch, but they have so many albums I can't even keep track. I like,
Same thing.
yeah,
Just like
exactly.
Disturbed
Yep.
for me. It's like,
I mean, King Diamond.
yeah. I know you like you
I'm
some King
probably
Diamond.
I'm the godmother of King Diamond because probably nobody likes King Diamond but me.
No, Dave Williams is all into the
Oh,
King
well,
Diamond. Yeah,
that's why
but
me
you
and
know him.
Dave,
Yeah.
Weenus
I think,
pullers.
yeah, he might be in Germany right now, so I don't think he can come save you today,
Yeah.
but maybe some other time.
Yeah, I love me some King Diamond too. That's
Um,
probably it for metal that I can think of. My top 5, 4.
and so like that'd be the genre of music. If you have, stuck on a desert island, you'd like, I gotta have me the metal. That's what I
Yeah.
gotta live with.
Yeah. If I'm angry, if I'm trying to have a good time, I'm listening to LL Cool J, that kind of stuff.
So if you're stranded on a desert island, are you be angry or trying to have a good time?
I'm gonna try to have a good time.
Are you?
I gotta talk to myself, sing to myself, dance with myself.
Hmm. You're not gonna like try to survive or anything, like
Well, yeah, but if you're angry, then you're just gonna waiting to die.
What about if you're determined? What kind of music would you listen to?
Rush.
Rush would make you determined?
Yeah. Or no, what's that song? Break My Stride. Ain't nobody gonna break my stride.
Oh boy. Who is that? Is that like Olivia Newton-John
No,
or
it's
something?
a guy. I have it on
That's a
my
dude?
walking workout. Yeah.
I did not know that.
He's a little motivating. Or like Sia, like The Greatest. That's a really good song too.
I don't know.
Or Queen. Yeah.
Queen
Yeah.
is
Don't Stop Me Now.
that makes you determined?
Yep.
Okay. Mudvayne has a song called Determined. I would just listen to that over
Mm-hmm.
and over again to keep me determined.
Yeah, exactly. Just put on repeat, like
repeat or
repeat?
repeat. Yeah, whatever.
Repeat?
Some sort of repeating thing.
like Kyle used to do on his MP3
Oh,
player.
good God. Yeah. What was that? Invincible? Because that was the Florida trip, I think, and he fell asleep and it was just like on, I think it was Invincible. Who was that?
By Pat Benatar?
No.
Oh.
I think it was it Beyonce or it was somebody like that?
Hmm.
I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was, it was a pop artist and it was a popular song
Mm-hmm.
during the time that we were there. And yeah, I remember that. I'm like, dude, turn that shit off.
The worst drive to Florida.
Yeah.
You had already quit smoking. I hadn't quit yet.
Oh,
You
really?
didn't
I
want
don't
me to
remember
smoke
that.
in your truck. And I'm like, can you pull over? Can we take a break so I can go have a cigarette? Like 2 cigarettes all the way to Florida. Jordan's puking in the back because she's car sick.
That I do remember. That was lame.
And then you bitching the whole time that you had to drive. But I'm like, you want me to drive? No.
Well, you got to weigh your options when it comes to that. Like, I could either bitch about driving or I could bitch about you driving.
True.
Which one would you prefer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So shut up. Okay, let's get out of the music thing. Or, well, let's stop talking about how you're mad at me for not letting you smoke in my car.
Cheers to 10 years no smoking. You like 15 probably something?
Maybe I'd have to look it up because it's honest. I honestly like. I don't ever think about it.
Yeah.
When I was done, I was like, I'm done, and I just don't care, and I don't think about it ever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm glad I don't smoke anymore. Period.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'd be broke.
Yeah, probably. Or smoking a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the movie Soylent Green, that shit comes true. Like all
Yeah.
those books I tell you about that I'm reading the books, I'm like, man, this stuff seems like too real life. This can't be.
Yeah.
Something's goofy here. Soylent Green, and I don't know if you ever remember that movie. I watched it. I took sci-fi in high school, science fiction class, and we watched it. And it was Charlton Heston. It's an old movie. It was made in the 70s or maybe the real early 80s. And there's a scene in there I always remember. And the teacher said something about it because he's like, oh, man, he's smoking a cigarette. And he's like, oh, if I had the money, I'd smoke, 1 or 2 of these a week or something like that. No, that's kind of where we're at now. They're so expensive. You could probably only afford to do that. Or you got to get a second job just to be able to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Nobody does that anyways. Everybody vapes now.
So
I see everybody doing that. I'm like, yeah, man, that's probably not good.
That's got to be so bad for you.
Probably.
I know.
That's for another show, though.
Yeah.
So what about movies? So if you got genres of music, we know, what you like there. What genre of movie do you enjoy the most?
Oof. Some kind of comedy usually
I
is
knew
my
you were going to
favorite.
say that.
Yeah. Well, why are you asking me?
Because other people might want to know.
Okay. Yes, comedies. Rocco. Oh.
Rocco, what the hell's that?
Romantic comedies.
Oh,
man.
Jesus. What? Come on, man. I don't speak in,
get with the program.
abbreviations.
LOL.
Yeah.
OMG, I can't believe you didn't know that.
So romantic comedies. Yeah. Remember when we went to see Couples Retreat in the movie theater?
Yeah.
And like everybody in the movie theater was just like couples like us.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a
Yeah.
great movie.
I thought it was kind of,
Yeah.
I felt like a nerd. kind of.
Whatever.
No, it was a really good movie though.
That's a great
Please
movie.
regard me.
Yes, that's a great
Then do
movie
it.
because, you know, you can relate to every person
Yeah.
of all of those couples. You're a little piece of each one of them. That was a great movie.
Is that top 5?
Top 10, not a top 5. Top 5 has got to be my old school, like The Outsiders for sure. I mean, not in this order, but Urban Cowboy, hands down.
I knew that was coming too.
Yeah.
I'll be your bud.
No, you won't, because you still haven't put a license on your truck.
I have just a regular guy truck.
I know.
It's
Well,
not
you could be a
I don't-
redneck too.
But I
just
don't
for
have a
funsies.
cowboy hat or anything.
Well, we could get you one.
I
just
bet you I
have to
could
get
beat
special ordered.
Wes Hightower's ass though.
Yeah.
I bet you
Mhm.
he would never
Mhm.
would have beat me up. I would have never took that shit
Mhm.
from him. I'd have snapped his head off.
Pick it up yourself.
Yeah, he did not treat women nicely.
No.
Hey, you know
he's a-
that guy's from around here too, Scott Glenn. I
Yeah.
think he's from. I'm pretty sure he's
Glendale?
from Wisconsin.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's from around here. Great actor.
Mm-hmm.
He was really in that movie. He was really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
that
was.
was a good movie too. I enjoyed
I
it.
love that movie. Yeah, The Outsiders, just because that was just a really good movie too. What else we got? The Breakfast Club, of course.
Typical 80s movie that everybody loves, right?
I know.
It's a classic. I can't deny it.
And then Grease 2.
Mhm.
Everyone disagrees with me, but I loved Grease 2 better than Grease 1.
Was that the one when the guy had the tires, had the blades on the tires? Or no, that was the one that the guy rode the motorcycle, right?
Yep.
Okay, that was Grease
He was
2.
the cool rider. I want to see OOLRIDER.
Was anybody else different in that movie? Was he the only
Everybody-
different character?
They were all different except
they
for
were.
Frenchie. She was the only one that was
Okay.
on from part 1.
It's only one original cast
Yeah,
member.
Stephanie Pfeiffer. Yeah, she was my idol. She was
Oh, yeah. Wait, Stephanie Pfeiffer or Michelle Pfeiffer?
Michelle Pfeiffer. She was
I do
Stephanie
remember
Zanoni.
that now.
And Adrian's Med.
So were
Hot
they
stuff. Little guy though.
whoever that is?
He was the guy from Saturday Night Fever.
I thought, okay. Anyways, I don't know who that is. We'll have to look that up after we're done here. We're not doing it now. I mean, I'm not the Joe Rogan podcast where I can just have it go, hey, look it up for me.
Yeah, right.
I have to do my own research.
Mhm. What else do I like?
So all the characters were different in that movie?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like by design, they were different people, period.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a new class or whatever.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, that makes sense. I gotcha.
I like the music better, I think.
And that you like musicals. I mean, obviously, because you got a season ticket. You're a season ticket holder at the
Yeah.
Performing Arts Center,
Recommend it to
and not
anybody.
Arts Performing Center. Two different things, by the way.
Marcus Performing Arts Center. One of the best purchases I ever made. It was a big purchase, but you know what? I don't regret it at all because it was like $650 for the year.
Yeah.
I think you get 7 performances, 6 or 7. I go to the shows that I normally wouldn't have bought, and I like them. So I'm like, I'm so glad I got that one.
Oh, good. I'm glad
Yeah.
you did get it because if you
Mhm.
enjoy it, that's good. And I don't, so I'm
I
glad you
mean-
have a nice group of people to go with too.
Yeah.
Because
Quite the different different group of people that go, but it's fun. We have a good
Yeah.
time.
friends are friends, man.
Yeah.
They don't all have to
Mhm.
be the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually better if they're not, because if everybody's all the same, that'd just
Yeah.
be boring.
Go have a snack and a drink before
Yeah.
we go. And I mean, I've only fallen asleep once. Cats, worst
Yeah,
worst
not
musical of
good.
all time. I don't know how that's been around forever. It's the worst.
I don't know. I'm not a theater buff, so I couldn't tell you.
Mamma Mia was last week. Sunday we're going to see, or a couple weeks ago it was Mamma Mia. Next week is Clue.
How many more do you got this year?
I feel like 3. Clue, and I know I have Tina, which is about Tina Turner, and Moulin Rouge. Yeah, so I have March, April, and May, I think.
Okay.
And then at the end of this month, they say what's next year. So I'm excited to see what that is too.
Cool. Well, I don't want to lose any viewers, so I'm going to get off the subject because it kind of
Shut
sucks,
up.
just so you know.
Whatever.
I want people to watch, not to be like, this is stupid. This lady going on
Broadway
and
shows
on
are
about
awesome.
theaters. No, I'm glad you like it.
Oh my God, I laugh, I cry. Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm good. Like I said, I'm glad
Les
you do
Mis.
it. Pop quiz, hot shot.
Okay.
Who likes meatball sandwiches?
What? Oh, the guy from freaking that was my other favorite movie, Point Break.
Angelo
Utah.
Pappas.
Yeah, give me 2, Utah.
Yeah, that's what my
me
next
two.
question would be, well, who got the sandwiches for him?
Utah.
How many did he get?
2.
Give me 2, Utah. Yeah,
Mhm.
good job. This is the game show part of the.
Yeah, Sal would appreciate that I know this part.
Yeah, he would. He no doubt would.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever play board games with the Grim Reaper?
Yeah, if it meant to get back to the ladies.
Yeah. Do you think you could beat him? Or do you
Yes.
would you Melvin him if you had to?
Yeah, I would
You
do
would?
whatever it took
Yeah,
to
that's
get back to the girls, the princesses.
or would you want to like in your reality would it be get back to the guys? I mean,
Yeah,
maybe you're
right.
into girls. I'm not going to
No,
judge,
I'm not.
I think I might have noticed, and I have noticed, by the way.
That I'm into girls? Oh,
I'm just kidding.
only when I'm drunk.
I knew it. If you were a damsel in distress and you needed to pick one person to save you, and you have to exclude me because that would be way
Oh,
too easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And if this was going to be a movie, you'd want it to be challenging. So obviously, I'm out because there'd be no challenge. I would just like boom, save you that fast. Who would you pick to save you? Would it be John Wick,
Mm-mm.
Neo, or Ted Theodore Logan?
The one.
You would have Neo. That would be your guy. That's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Although,
It seems that might be kind. I mean, well, maybe you're not. You don't have a flair for the dramatics because, like, John Wick would come in like just be
he would just
shooting.
stab and shoot everyone
shoot
that has
everybody, right?
extra blood throughout. No, but I mean Neo, he's the one.
Yeah. No, I know he is. I saw the movie too. Yes, he is the one.
Although he looked kind of ugly when his eyes are all taken out or whatever. He was blinded, and he's
Yeah.
like doing
Yeah,
that
'cause
for a while.
when Agent Smith like got into the real world and
Yeah.
and shot him with that, whatever lightning gun or whatever it was.
Yeah. So yeah, part 1 and 2 were good, but then
Yeah.
after that it kind of got lame.
You see what I'm doing here yet? You
Talking about my favorite actor.
picking up when I'm putting down.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What's up with the crush that you got on that inferior person to me, Keanu Reeves?
Whatever. He's hot stuff, and he's a good human.
What's so? Yeah, I hear he is a good human. What's
Mm-hmm.
so hot about him? Just because he has long brown, dark hair, and he's probably tall and in shape, and plays in a band, and he's a great actor. I mean, anybody can do that.
I mean, he looks good in leather. Do you remember that part when he was going into uh,
What?
the one part on Matrix Part 1 when he was going into the big house, the big place to get why can't I think of
When
the
they
name?
all have the
Lawrence.
cool sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name? The guy Lawrence Fishburne.
He was Morpheus.
Morpheus. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was going to save Morpheus, and then he opens up his jacket. He's got these guns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it well? He had the big boots too. Do you like the big boots to go the whole get up?
I mean, at that moment, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And to tell to wipe off my drool.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
boy.
I'm just kidding. No.
I feel that way about him too. Just so you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. He was really good looking in Point Break too. I mean, he has a nice, cute, whatever.
Do you think he's related to Christopher Reeves?
I don't think so.
No.
They don't look very similar.
How do you know?
Because I know what Christopher Reeves looked like.
What did he
Looks
look like?
He was Superman.
So he looked like Superman?
Mm-mm. No, he looks like Neo. No, Christopher Reeves does not. He has light brown hair.
A lot of ladies thought he was good looking too.
Mm,
No, not you so
not
much.
really. No.
Is he too old for you?
No, I don't like men in tights.
Like the movie Men in Tights? Mel Brooks?
Yeah, I don't think they're handsome.
You don't think but you liked all the 80s music.
Yeah, but those are
probably would have-
leggings. Those weren't tights.
That's the
That's
same
different.
damn thing.
No.
You don't know what? No.
Tights are a little opaque.
What? Like, I don't understand. Okay, that's fine. We'll just move on from that.
Okay.
All right, let's get serious.
Okay.
President Biden
Mm.
is 81 years old.
Mm-hmm. It's old.
Donald Trump, my favorite guy nowadays, is 77.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite.
So
I didn't realize he was that old.
it's election year.
Mhm.
Those are your guys. Those are your two main choices. How do you
Mhm.
feel about that?
Different than you.
I know. Well, I'm asking you how you feel about it.
I feel like I wish there was someone else running.
Okay.
I feel like there should be some younger with different points of view. Biden, I don't care for him at all. Trump, I think he just talks too much on social media, so he just makes himself sound like a dick
Mm-hmm.
and stupid. I voted for him. I thought we needed a businessman versus a politician.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would have been fine if he didn't talk so much.
True. more what I'm driving at is like the age part of it.
Mhm.
How do you feel about the ages of those two people running? What do you think about that part of it?
I mean, anyone can die at any age, right? But I think that a younger president
Hmm.
would be in our best interest.
Do you think we should have some sort of age limits?
I do.
Yeah. Do you think you can put an exact number on it?
I think you have to. I mean, if you're putting an age limit, I think you have to, right?
But how do you
So,
do that is the question. I think most Americans would agree with you that there has to be, there has to be something because, do you want somebody that's in their 90s running the country?
no.
Does it, right. And I know you can't just say like, well, the person is this many years old and they're probably not all with it anymore because everybody ages a little bit
Right.
differently. Some people are more with it at an older age than
Mhm.
others are.
Mhm.
But I think that we should have I'd like to see something in place for multiple reasons. And,
Yeah.
when I talk to Jordan, I kind of, I'll try not to get all into the same stuff over and over again. But, I would like to see somebody closer to my age. Look, being, you know, not quite as old as you, but getting closer,
Mhm.
but being, being middle aged.
Mhm.
I would like to see the person that's running the country, even, and you know what, I'll say across the board, like the Congress people and the
Mhm.
senators, state and federal level. I'd like to see them all be closer to a median age rather
Mhm.
than out on the older end.
Right.
And it seems like on the federal level, you see a lot of that. You see a lot of these Congress people and senators that are just been there for like a million years.
Mhm.
Are you still in touch with what people really want?
Exactly.
Right. And that's
Mhm.
kind of where that's where I'm getting at. And that's why I'm asking people this question, because I have a feeling that people are feel similar to me, as far as the age and like people just being in politics too long. Do you think that we should have some sort of term limits, on that level?
Yes, there is term limits.
Well, for the president there is, but
Yeah.
not in Congress and the Senate.
Okay.
That's why
Yes,
those people can be
absolutely.
there for
You gotta
as long as they
rotate.
want.
You gotta rotate in, because then, like everything else, you get complacent. They're benefiting themselves. It's funny when you said like people your age, I thought, no, you're too young, but I forgot you're gonna be 50 on Tuesday. So
I
yeah,
am going to be
because
50.
in my head, I'm thinking if you had to put a age limit, I would say 50 to 70,
Hmm.
but depending on your health, right? I mean, again, you can die at any age,
Right.
but if you've got cognitive issues, you should not be running. You should
Right.
not be the president. You cannot protect our country. And I know that there's so many people under a president that makes a lot of the decisions, but
It's a bad look
but
though,
then
I think.
under 50, I also don't think that they've had enough experience, like
Hmm.
life, honestly.
I personally, I put a number on it. 45 to 60 that's my wheelhouse of where I
Yeah.
think it should be, because I do feel like you've gotten to a point in your life where you probably got your shit together
Yeah.
and that you, you know stuff,
Mhm.
and you're there where like a lot of people are in that same age. So look, you can have a view of the older people in society and the younger, because you're
Mhm.
right there, I
Yeah.
think. And that's just my opinion. Um, but,
Yeah, I would have said 50 to 70, but if we're doing
yeah,
a
we're close.
15-year span, yeah, I would say 50 to 65 then.
You know, um, talking about like the cognitive issues and stuff like that, Jordan really, I thought Jordan, when I had her on, she hit it perfectly. She said, when people have stuff like that, you get dementia or Alzheimer's, that stuff usually progresses fairly quickly.
Mhm.
So if there is, and Ronald Reagan, towards the end of his presidency, he clearly, well, we know he had Alzheimer's now, but you
Mhm.
could, we were younger, but I know, speaking to people that paid attention to politics
Mhm.
during that time, you could see it. And, it's like, that's the thing. Like, I think it's a bad look for the country to have somebody
Mhm.
that's leading the country doing that. But
Mhm.
like, hey, that's part of getting old. It
Right.
happens to people. So like, and you're not just gonna like willy nilly remove somebody from office. But
Right.
if we could somehow, maybe weed out some of that and try to not allow that to happen, we'd probably be better off. And I know it hasn't happened much, so maybe I'm
Right.
maybe I'm jumping the shark a little bit here. It's been in the news, and the last 8 years. Well, I'll say the last like almost 4 years, because I really didn't have a lot of bitches when Trump was president, besides the
Mhm.
diarrhea of the mouth thing.
Mhm.
Like, just
Right.
besides that, I'm like,
I didn't have anything to complain about except for
yeah,
his
right.
yeah.
Me either. Besides that, I mean, it's just
Mhm.
really it's how
Yeah.
his demeanor and how he acted. He was just,
Mhm.
Anyways, we don't have to. I really prefer not to talk about that too much, but I think
Mhm.
the age thing is important, and I think that's why I keep bringing it up, and I want to ask everybody that, because I think it's just an important thing to talk about, because it's a real thing,
Mhm.
and because, like, the term limits is a real thing. I'm just period fed up with all that kind of stuff. I'm tired of politicians that, well, and then I'm going to stop myself. I don't think it has anything to do with how long they've been there sometimes, because I think they're all out of touch.
Mhm.
I would like to just wipe them all out of there,
Yeah.
get them all out of there and start from scratch. Because when this started, the vision that the people that's, the original people signed the Constitution, they saw it as the everyday person
Mhm.
taking office and doing their time and then getting out of it.
Mhm.
And what it's turned into is nothing but elites that
Right.
have probably grown up, um, being out of touch with what's going on in the country and what people need and what they care
Mhm.
about to start with. They were never in touch with the reality of what's going on.
Right.
So, and I just, like, that's why I'm like, I'm done with it. Like,
Mhm.
we need to start over and start getting people that, like, care about stuff again.
Well, that's
Or,
why I liked Trump, because he was a businessman. He wasn't a
but
politician. I mean,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
it's different now, but at the time, I thought he would have a different opinion and a different approach on things.
yeah.
And I agree, like these long-term career politicians, I'm not good with that.
No, that it's yeah. And
Right?
you want to hear something crazy? Something I read, just recently. A lot of these people that are in the Senate and in the Congress, when they get out of office, they turn into lobbyists. So they go back and they go to Washington, or they stay in Washington, and then they lobby.
Mhm.
And they actually have more power a lot of times lobbying for the
Mhm.
government, and more power, like, for changing laws or dictating how
Mhm.
these bills are written and passed, than they did when they were in the Senate. And why we don't have some sort of law that prevents these people from, like, they're already gaming the system, right, and getting rich
Right.
while they're there.
Right.
But then when they get out of office, they go back and, like, behind the scenes, and it's like
Mhm.
they have almost more power. That's crazy. I just learned that, and I'm like, that's insane. Why are we allowing that to happen? We, as the American public, need to say, we're not putting up with that anymore, and let's put a stop to it, because,
Mhm.
somehow the tides got turned. Like, we still run this country.
Right.
That's how it's supposed to be, and it doesn't look that way. The way you look at it now, it's like they're running us, and I ain't good
Right.
with that.
That's why I respect the whole voting process and the electoral votes. Even though people win that I don't vote for, people have won that I voted for. People have not won that I voted for. But it's based on the electoral votes, and it is what it is,
Hmm.
and you do what you can and hope for the best. Honestly, I
Right.
don't want I mean that sounds pretty like you hope for the best, but hopefully because there's not these long-term 12-year terms, if somebody does something that's not great, it can be changed, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
they can't change the world in the
Right.
4 years.
Yeah. Odds are neither party, whoever's in
Right,
charge, is going to burn the
right,
country down. Right.
right. Well, we hope not, right?
You hope not. And it
If
seems
these
like,
freaking people would just be a little bit more bipart, a little bit more meet in the middle, a little bit more compromise here, just like a
I'm
marriage.
trying to get there a little bit. Right. That's a very good analogy.
Thank you.
Nice job. Maybe we should just end there. That's it. Like the Seinfeld. That's it. We're out of here.
Mm-hmm. Telling you, man, don't sweat the small stuff. Everybody's too busy bitching about the
Yep.
other person. And fix yourself, man. Fix your own house.
There you go. I agree with you 100%. We should get out of here, but we're not going to,
How long
because
have we been
we
doing
can't.
this?
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
We can't leave now, because it's time for everybody's favorite segment.
Okay.
It's the infamous bitch of the day. And today I thought of a good one, because I know this, happened to you recently.
Oh boy.
Yeah. What I want to talk about today, or bitch about today, is people being unself aware, for lack of a better term, in public. Like, a good example would be if you're at a performance at the Marcus Performing Arts
Oh
Center,
yeah.
and somebody's doing.
Popping their gum.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Somebody's popping their gum, and that is rude as shit.
Oh
Like
my
you're
god.
trying to
Yep.
watch this performance, right? And you got
Right.
this person behind you snapping their gum or whatever.
Right. How rude.
And I know the story, and that's part of the reason I said this is a good bitch of the day, because that's just like the surface of it. But
Mhm.
before I continue and go too far, I do have to, we got to give Michelle O her props for like having the cojones
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
actually say something. And I think that we all need to take a lesson from that, because we all put up with everybody else's horse shit out in
Mhm.
public like that.
Mhm.
And maybe more of us need to, you don't have to be a dick about it.
Right.
You just nicely, because maybe the person truly does not understand,
True.
doesn't know that they're doing it. Or, it might be the case that they just don't give a shit about what you think at all, and they're doing it anyways.
That's
But it's still rude to everybody else
Mhm.
that's there. And I don't think you're out of line if you nicely just say something to somebody, and maybe they stop. Maybe
Right.
they don't. And if they don't stop, I guess, don't make a big scene. But
Mhm.
hey, you said your piece. You can go home or go to bed at night thinking, hey, at least I did without being out of line, I did what I
Yep.
should have done. And I actually said something to somebody.
Yep. No, I appreciated her for saying that. I thought at first I thought, "Oh my god," because this is what we did. Patty was all passive aggressive, like, "I can't believe people are chewing their gum,"
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
then
yeah,
I go to social media. "I can't believe people are popping their gum,"
yeah.
and Michelle's like,
That's
"Should
also
I say?"
passive
Yeah, I
aggressive.
know. Michelle said, "Should I say something?" I'm like, "No, whatever," because I didn't really hear it until it was brought to my attention. But then she said something. I was like, "Oh shit." Can I have a different bitch of the day for
Well, you
the
can, but
Broadway
we're
show?
not done with this one. I mean, you
Oh,
can't just
sorry.
like
Okay.
boom, just be like
All
done.
right.
Like, no,
Well, it
the
was
bitch of the
related to
day.
Broadway shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about people being like unaware of their surroundings and
Yeah.
just being rude in public in
Mhm.
general. So that was like the most latest example. So I thought we'd start with that.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
one.
there's a bunch of those. I mean, and
Yep.
you can like shout them out if you know them. Like, don't be afraid. Like
Dirt.
people. Yeah. Trees.
Screen. My cousin Vinny.
Yeah,
Shout
great
him out.
movie.
Go
Great
ahead.
movie. See, that should have been on one of your top five, but no, we had to
Yeah,
talk
it
about
is.
Grease for
I
15
know.
minutes.
I know. That's true though. Yeah, that
But
my cousin Vinny's a good one too.
it is. People talking on their cell phone on a speakerphone out in
Oh,
public is the
yes.
one that, like, dude,
Uh-huh.
what in the F, man? Or it doesn't even have to be in public, because there's people that are close to me that are guilty of doing this too. And if they watch this, you know who you are. And I'm just saying it. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to be on the damn speakerphone when there's a bunch of other people around.
True.
Unless the only time that I'll say that it's acceptable is like if everybody in the room is talking to the person that's on
Right.
the phone, then putting them on
Mhm.
speakerphone makes sense. But if you're just like talking to your friend about something that nobody cares about,
Yeah.
and everybody else is there, why the fuck do we have to be
Right.
involved in that, hear everything that's going on?
Yeah.
Like, just talk on the phone like regular. And you see it in the grocery store,
Mhm.
people walking around.
Right.
Why?
That is so rude. It drives me freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I do that with mom though. Sometimes when I have to like check her Amazon stuff, but usually I try to do that when you're in the other room.
Well, I've noticed that you've been doing that. And, yeah, well, you can do that all you want, but like, you can't bitch about it if you get a person
Mhm.
doing it too.
I recognize though.
What did you just say? Clean up your own house.
That's right.
Exactly. Clean up your house,
know.
pig.
Whatever. Pick it up yourself. I like my tuna salad with pecans.
I'm sure you got one that's like along these same lines. Come on. Like I said, shout them out when you know them.
Well, actually, when you were just talking about the Broadway shows, which I know that you wanted to limit because that's boring talk to you.
No, you
But,
can. Well, we'll see. I'm watching
Yeah.
watching my
So
fake watch
the
here.
fact that people wouldn't move for us, they're on the end, and they wouldn't move. We're in the middle, and they told us to go around. They wouldn't stand up.
That's fucked up.
I was pissed off, and it was dark in there already. And apparently they had done that to, I was at a funeral, so I was late, so I had to wait until 23 minutes in. That's when they let the late people in. So they did that same thing to the rest of my group that was there on time. So when I got there, it was dark, and they said, no, go around. I go, I'm literally, my seat is right in the middle of the row.
So was there like 4 people and then?
Yep.
So
there
it
are
didn't
4.
matter what side you went in.
Exactly.
Like it was the same distance for
Exactly.
you either
I
way.
just would have had to walk around to go in this way.
So according to them, like the people on the other end of the aisle are less important than they are. So you can inconvenience them, but they cannot be inconvenienced.
And I can walk in front of a bunch of people. Right.
Man,
so
you
they
get
didn't
me all
move. So
worked
I
up
had to
right now.
I had to climb over them in the dark. I tripped over them.
The other
I
people
spilled
or
their drinks.
which people?
No, the people on the end.
Oh, okay.
I climbed over them because they wouldn't stand up.
That was gonna be my question.
Yeah,
Like,
I stepped on them. I knocked over their drinks, and fell into them. I was
Did you
pissed
do it on
off.
purpose, or you just did it
No, I
because
couldn't
that's
see.
because they wouldn't let you
Yeah,
because they
exactly.
wouldn't let you through?
Right.
What and you
On
know,
purpose, I would have thrown an elbow, but I wouldn't do that. But
yeah,
I'm
that's what I was going to
saying,
ask you. What did you want to do?
yeah, I wanted to freaking go do a flying elbow. You know, that big wrestling move?
Yeah,
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
ooh,
Take it easy. Those are not,
ooh,
those aren't free,
whoa.
and you're
I
gonna have
know.
to
Upgrades from your Christmas
you're gonna
present.
have to you're gonna have to replace them if you break them.
Why don't we talk about your upgrades from your Christmas?
Let's talk about upgrade. Why don't we talk about buttered sausage? Why it's here, what it does.
Buttered sausage? I don't know that one.
No, never mind. Let's get back to the bitch of the day. It's a Gary Busey's was
Oh,
on a podcast and like the
oh,
guy
when he
asked
was
him
a
a
crazy
question.
guy? Yeah.
Yeah, and he just like told you, let's talk about buttered sausage. I'm like, whoa, what the
He's a
hell?
crazy
It's
mofo.
hilarious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's pretty messed up.
Yep.
And that's the kind of stuff like why people got to be like that. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
along the same lines of you're at the grocery store
Mm-hmm.
and somebody, they put their cart on the right side of the aisle and then they go to the left
Yep.
side of the aisle and they're
Yep.
just like perusing
Mm-hmm.
every can of SpaghettiOs that's there,
Right.
not knowing which one they want. And they're probably reading the labels and they're bent over with their big giant ass in your way.
Yeah.
And you're like, can you just put your cart on
Well,
that same side?
here's
Or
the thing. I always pull over my cart to try to get out of the way
yeah.
when there's no one behind me. But if somebody comes up behind me,
Mm-hmm.
don't stand there and not say anything.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
excuse me. That shit pisses me off.
Yeah, and there's
Like,
totally
you can have a
acceptable to do
voice.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Have a voice. Say excuse me. I say I'm sorry if I was in your way.
Mm-hmm.
Just say excuse me and then go. Like, don't have time just to sit there and wait for people. I am way too impatient of a person.
Me too. That's why I go to the grocery store at
Way-
like 7 or 8 o'clock
yeah,
in the morning
I'm
because
way
I
too
just
impatient.
I want to murder everybody by the time I'm done
Mhm.
because that stuff just happens. Because I'll walk in, first thing you see is some douchebag on their cell phone talking on speakerphone, and then
Yeah.
I'll go to the aisle, and then there's
Mhm.
3 people taking up the whole aisle like all the time. Like, come on. And what makes that worse is like when you get into a bad pattern and you got the person that's just like not self-aware, taking up all the aisle space and just like being in
Mhm.
your way constantly. You seem to get in this pattern where you're going up an aisle and they're coming
I
down,
know,
and
you
it
see
happens the
those-
whole store. You're
Yeah,
like,
you
damn
see those
it.
mofos. Yeah.
And they're like,
Mhm.
I'm going to skip a couple aisles. I'll come back
Yep.
later. And then you come back and they're still there.
I know, right? Yeah. You didn't need anything from that bakery aisle anyway. It's fine. Or that baking aisle.
Yeah. We could go on about this for a while, and I'm going to go on for a little bit because there's some more of these. Like this is important. You people that do this shit, you better be watching, and you better know that we know who you are, and we're going
Yep.
to start speaking up because we're done
And you know
dealing
who
with
you are.
your bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're on an airplane and you're watching a movie on your phone and you have your headphones in,
Oh
and it's
my
like
God, yes.
full blast,
Mm-hmm.
like so now the whole plane is listening to your movie
Mm-hmm.
while you're watching it. I mean, luckily it's not porn, or maybe it'd be all right. Maybe if it's porn, I'd be fine. But like, come on. Or they, people that do that in the airport in general.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's
why?
just so terrible.
Or you're letting your kids
Where
do
was
it.
that?
It's just as bad
Right.
if you let your kids do it. There's no excuse
Yeah.
for that.
Nice lessons you're teaching your kid just to be
Right.
an obnoxious asshole.
Yeah, you're right. Because then they
Right.
grow up and now
Yeah.
the rest of the world's got to deal with that.
Yeah, where was I at that? Oh, when I was at the hospital visiting Jordan when she was there, and I was in the lunchroom, the cafeteria,
Oh
or
yeah, you
whatever,
told me about
waiting,
this.
and they had 2 employees that were sitting there talking on the phone on speaker. One was on speaker talking to somebody else, and the other one was like watching a movie.
Were they at least on break? They weren't like supposed to be doing their job.
Who knows?
'Cause that's
I don't
another thing.
know.
Like, do your fucking job.
But I'm like,
man.
seriously, I'm trying to like work from my computer or whatever, and like, God, people are just nobody cares about what you have to say to your freaking mom, whatever.
Yeah.
Just keep your conversations to yourself. It's just
I feel like
annoying.
this whole conversation, like the stuff we're talking about, that's going to be a whole blog. I could write like, I don't know, 50 pages on just this topic, like in general.
And it's not even not being self-aware. It's people thinking, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's my phone. I can do it.
Right.
And I don't care about anybody else. It's people
Right.
just not caring about anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, there's other people in the world. And like, to a certain point, I can like, hey, look, you got to look out for yourself. But I mean, yeah, if there's other people around, it's not really that hard, that difficult. Like, you don't have to
Earbuds.
be on speakerphone, right?
Right. Earbuds.
And if you don't, if you can't afford the earphones or whatever, which
Hold
is
the phone
bullshit
up.
that you can't.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can because
Mhm.
if you got a smartphone, it probably costs $2,000. Don't tell me you can't
Unless
buy
it was free for you.
$20. Well, that's a different story. This one, I don't mean it. This one's tough, but I still hate it. Like when people go to get on a plane and they're like, they bring smelly food on.
Oh, I
Like
guess I've never really had that.
I've had it, like people like just buy food and they just buy something and they open it up. So like they go to one of the, one of the restaurants or whatever in the airport and they buy it
Oh,
and then they get on the plane
yeah.
and they open it up and it just reeks. And it's like
Hmm.
there's certain foods that just smell.
Yeah.
And maybe it smells good to you
Right.
because you like it, but
Right.
maybe it doesn't. And then you have to smell this. Like you can't tell me there's not foods that like when you smell them, you're like, ugh, they
Yeah.
want, you know what I
Syrup.
mean?
Look.
Well, so what if somebody brought, 700
Yeah.
pancakes with like a
Mm-hmm.
gallon of syrup? Like,
Yeah.
would you like to smell that on the flight?
Yeah. No.
I mean, I'm not saying people shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
eat, but like,
Mm-hmm.
generally the flights aren't that long, and if they are long, they'll provide you with a meal a lot of times. Hey, leave my pony alone. He's sleeping.
Running into sleep.
Yeah.
Only one leg flying
Um,
though.
you know what I mean though? I mean, like you can like for just the short flight that you're on, can you just like maybe just pick a food that doesn't reek? Or better yet, can you not bust ass
Oh, okay.
in
That's
the tube that
right.
just recirculates the air so we all eat your shit the whole time? I mean,
Yeah.
can you
Right.
not do that? I mean,
Yeah.
ca- and trust me, I've had to fart on a plane plenty of times. I just hold it back till I get off, and then
Mm.
when nobody's around, you just let her fly. You got to do what you got to do, and like get it. People get gassy, right? But
Yeah.
we don't all need to eat your shit.
I see. I've never had the issue with the food, but it drives me crazy when, okay, anyone that needs assistance or has children, you can board early so they get on the plane quick, like
Yeah,
for Southwest or
yeah.
whatever, when that shit bugs me. You bring your 12-year-old needs assistance, whatever, or you just fake wheelchair in or
Uh,
whatever.
no,
Whatever.
you're really you're going down the rabbit hole on this one.
Yeah, you started it.
No, I know. I mean, I know what you're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely bitch of the day worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because people take advantage of people take it. Here's something, and I'm sorry that I'm speaking fragmented right now, but I'm going to clean this up right now. People will take advantage of any situation that they can. They've done it throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
They are not ever going to stop. And when other people start to understand that that's human nature and people are going to do that, then maybe we'll start viewing the world differently and maybe stop, you know, maybe we'll change some laws so we're
Mm-hmm.
not like giving people the opportunities to take advantage of all this stuff that, that the people that are trying to just stay out of the way and do their own thing, we're the ones that always pay the price for that, right?
That is the rabbit hole, my
Yeah,
friend.
I know. And
Working remotely, not
yeah,
actually working when
right.
they're remote working. So
Yep.
then it ruins it for a bunch of other
And
people.
that's horseshit. Like people ruining it for everybody is something I never
Mm-hmm.
really cared for because that the group policy is like one person fucked it up, so now we all pay
Mm-hmm.
the price. I'm not a fan of
Mm-hmm.
it, but I at the same time I understand that's how it has to be because you can't because if you make a rule for one person, you can't like
Yep.
make a different rule for the other person
Yep.
because then the person and it's always going to be the person that's taking advantage of everything that's going to whine and cry.
Mm-hmm.
You're not treating me fair. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
you're an asshole and you
Mm-hmm.
deserve to be treated exactly how you're being treated because you brought that shit on yourself.
And you wonder why you're micromanaged.
Yeah, well, I know. And then we all get micromanaged, right? Which no, I don't because I just decided like I ain't nobody doing shit anymore. I manage it myself.
I think I
Again.
work enough to not be micromanaged.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm like just
Today,
saying like
7 to 6.
yeah.
7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah,
Good
I
enough.
know you.
Oh,
I know you
a
were
little bit of an hour
slowing me
lunch.
down. I got
I
this is I got
know.
my side hustle here, and I can't do it
I
because
know.
you just
I had a conference call. It was the
corporate
only
Jenny,
time. Yeah.
corporate Jenny.
Yes, that's what he calls me all the time.
All right, so enough bitching. People are, they either probably enjoyed it, or they're probably tired of it, and they tuned out.
Yeah.
But I like to. I'm going to do this every episode. I'm going to finish up with just random fact, something that maybe people don't know.
Yeah.
And I looked something up today that people think they know, but I'm going to drop some knowledge on them. So I'm sure you've heard the old wives' tale that in the northern hemisphere, when you flush a toilet, the water goes either clockwise or counterclockwise.
Okay.
And then if you go down to the southern hemisphere, like in Brazil or whatever, and you flush a toilet, that the water goes the opposite direction. Have you heard that?
Okay.
Or if you pour water
Yeah.
down a drain
Mm-hmm.
and the water goes the opposite direction, whether in the northern or southern
Mm-hmm.
hemisphere. It's kind of almost common knowledge. A lot of people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
You've
I've heard that. It
Yeah, I've
just
heard
didn't
it.
make much sense to me.
Same thing with tornadoes and cyclones or hurricanes and
Oh,
cyclones.
go one way.
They do. So that's called the Coriolis effect.
Okay.
And it does have to do with because the Earth's rotation and being in one hemisphere or the other. Here's the thing people don't know. When it comes to toilets and water going down a drain, it's all bullshit.
That's what I would think
It
because
is
water runs
bullshit.
down.
Well, but water, like if you drain a bathtub, you see it goes in a circle, or your toilet goes in a
Okay.
circle,
Yeah, I
right?
guess I never
Or
been.
down
Yeah.
a drain. It always does
Okay.
go in a circle.
Uh-huh.
But it has nothing to do with being in the northern or southern hemisphere because the Coriolis effect only works on very large things like hurricanes and cyclones. It's a much bigger mass that it can work on, that so it spins in a different direction in those hemispheres.
Mm-hmm.
But water, mostly what dictates, like a toilet, for example, the reason it spins one way is because the water, when you flush it, is pointing a certain direction.
Right.
So it goes that
Right.
direction. So it can just, water will drain down a drain randomly in either direction, no matter what hemisphere
Mm-hmm.
you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a country that's on the equator in Africa where there's these guys that
Mhm.
if you give them a small fee, they have a bucket or a drain on the northern hemisphere and a drain on the
Oh,
southern
interesting.
hemisphere, and then they got one on the equator. And when they pour the water in there, what do you think they do? It goes one way
Yeah,
on
right.
the northern, the other
Mhm.
way on the southern, and if you do it on the equator, it just goes straight down. It doesn't spin.
Interesting.
But that's horse shit.
Yeah.
It's like a shell game. They
Mhm.
just made it up so they can make money.
Hmm.
Of course,
Smart.
because you pay the fee. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
why
smart.
not?
And you know what's dumb? That people that fall for that, because I looked it up this afternoon and found that, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
that's an easy one.
Hmm.
So there's your random fact of the day, everybody. Water spins whatever fucking direction it wants when it goes down a drain. Thanks for obliging me tonight. I really enjoyed our talk. Hopefully people enjoyed it as well and didn't get too bored. And we'll definitely should do this again. Maybe we can come up with a skit or something.
Hmm.
No, but
Yeah.
no. We should do this again because, I mean, we talk all the time. Why not, like, maybe drop some knowledge on
Yeah.
people, right? So,
Hey, thanks for having me.
anytime. Well, that being said, well, bye.
Bye.